friends and welcome to Obsidian Soft. Ramadan has begun in the Islamic world and this year I have an exciting new project for you. Last year I showed you how to build a Qibla Compass app and this time we are creating a prayer timings app in MIT App Inventor and this was highly requested by many of my followers too. So let's have a look at the demo. In my previous weather app tutorial, users had to enter their city manually, but this time we are making it even smarter. Using the location sensor, the app will automatically detect the longitude and latitude of the user's device. We will send this data to an API, AlAdhan.com, to get accurate prayer timings. Since prayer times vary based on schools of thought, we will allow users to select the preferred school. And for Shafi and Hanfi, we will be using the Muslim World League method. And for Jafri, we will be using the Jafri method. Okay? And let's have a look at the API that we will be using. So as I said to you before, that for Jafri, we will be using this method 0. And for Shafi and Hanfi, we will be sending the school along with the method, and that will be Muslim World League. So you can use this ISNA or this University of Islamic Sciences Karachi too, if you want, or some other method from here, okay? Now let's begin. Open up MIT App Inventor, go to projects, start a new project. Let's call it prayer timings. Keep the toolkit default, super important, press OK. In screen one's properties, make align horizontal center and make the background color a green color, which I'm going to make a bit darker by choosing custom from here and then making it darker in this way. Okay, I am also going to change the title to prayer timings, and then I'm going to add a spinner from user interface onto the viewer, and I'm going to rename it to school picker, and below this I am just going to add a list view. Okay, like this. And now we need a few non-visible components. So from sensors, a location sensor. Let me turn off the user interface. From connectivity, a web component, and a tiny DB from storage. This is for storing the user's preferred school, okay? So he doesn't have to choose it again and again. So our screen design is done. So let's go to the block section. So we need a few global variables. So the first one is the schools. This will be initially an empty list. Right click, duplicate. This is now the chosen school. And this is not an empty list anymore. This is just an empty text block, okay? Right click, duplicate, and this is prayer dictionary, so DICT for short, and this is an empty dictionary. Okay, this will contain the data returned by the API, and we need another empty list for actually containing the prayer timings. Okay, so let's remove the unused blocks. When the screen is initialized, so get its initialize event, we are going to first add items to our schools list. So go to lists and get the add item to list block, hover over schools. Let me make it a bit bigger. And then I'm going to type in quickly the different schools that I want to add. So I will speeden up the video here. So 3 schools added. Now I am going to provide my school pickers elements, that is set them to my schools list. So this list basically, which is now filled up, so I can just duplicate it and then provide it that. And then I have to load whatever has been stored in the data So go to variables, get the set block, chosen school. So I'm going to load it, and if the value is not there, then I'm going to use this value. I can duplicate it to avoid spelling mistakes. And my tag, which this is important, I will be using the same tag for storing the school inside the TinyDB. So we have to use the same tags. So this I'm going to type chosen school. So when the app is started, not only the schools list is filled up, but we also load the chosen school. And if nothing has been saved in the TinyDB, then by default, this will be Shafi. And now we have to set our school picker selection to the loaded chosen school. So right click, duplicate, and we get the chosen school here. Now let's make an empty procedure to get prayer times. Okay, now go to location sensor and get its location changed event. So whenever the location is determined, we are going to call this procedure get prayer times. So don't worry, we are going to fill this procedure soon, but let's do this framework first. So I have called the prayer times procedure when location changed event is triggered. Now let's work on our prayer times procedure. So get web1's set URL block. So just go down, and here it is. And this is a join of 4 things. So get the join block from text and add 4 elements to it, 4 strings to it. And I'm going to construct it right in front of you. So this first is an empty text block, and the third is also an empty text block. And I am going to provide you all this in the video description. So just copy this first part and paste it here. This is the way we call this prayer times API. So copy it here. Now this is the location sensor's latitude. So go to location sensor and get its latitude. Again, copy this third part, paste it here, and right click, duplicate, and this is now the longitude. Clear? Now our URL is still not complete, because remember we have to add method or school depending upon what the user has chosen in the school picker. So from control, get this third block, that is if then else block. Let me take this one down, and here in the beginning I am going to check if my school is Shafi. So from logic, get the equal to block, from school picker get the selection block, and I'm going to just bring these down so that there's no unintentional spelling mistake. Okay, so this is how I filled up my school picker list. This was in the initialize event. So if the school is Shafi, what I need to do, and very carefully, is that I am going to set my web1 URL, again scroll down, same as before, but now it's a join of 2 things. Whatever I've already put in the web1 URL. So that's the first element. So go to web1 and get this block. So this is what I've already put inside my URL, and I join it with an empty text block that says, and this you have to be careful while typing, and method is equal to 3 and school is equal to 0. I cannot stress it enough how these spellings and numbers are important. So school 0 means Shafi, and method 3, remember, it means the Muslim World League, okay? And this is for Shafi. So right click, duplicate. Now I'm going to check for not Shafi, for Hanfi. And I can right click, duplicate this Shafi block, because here I just need to change the school. So school becomes now 1. Okay. And then lastly, if it is not Shafi, it's not Hanfi, it means it's Jafri. So just right click and duplicate. And this here, now remember, there is no school here, it's just method here. So I'm just going to get rid of school and make the method 0. Okay. Now, this method you can change depending upon, for example, if you want to go for ISNA, the Islamic Society of North America, then you have to change method 3 here to 2 and method 3 here to 2. Okay? Now that was a tongue twister. Now, after we have set the URL, we have to also call web1.get. Okay? So after setting up the URL properly, we are going to call web1.get, and remember that this call will trigger this got text event. So we have done it many times now, that web1.get always trigger web1.got text. And here we have to do something important. We are going to be decoding our response content. Okay. Before doing that, we are going to first check if the response code returned is 200, because if I go down, scroll down, you can see that if it is 200, the response code, this means some valid timings are being returned. And if there is an error, then the response code is 400. Okay. So first of all, using the control if then block and using the logic equal to block, check that the response code is equal to 200. Next, we are going to make a local variable for containing our decoded response. So this is, I'm going to rename to JSON, and this is from web. I have this JSON text decode with dictionaries, and I'm going to provide it the response content. So just decode it into a dictionary. So this JSON, it's a dictionary in this form. Have a look at it. So for 200, so we have these keys and these are the values. So we have a key code and then status and then data and then timings, and this in turn is a dictionary of prayer timings. So we have to get to that level. So how can we do that? First of all, I am going to set my prayer dictionaries to, from dictionaries, a get value for key, and then right click and duplicate and then plug this in here too. So here I am going to tell that it's the key data and the dictionary is the decoded JSON, and this expects not a text log but a dictionary. So if not found, I should return an empty dictionary. So I first of all get the dictionary for key data. Okay. So I get the dictionary for key data. So this will return to me this part. Then I have to get the dictionary against the key timings. Okay. So now this will return to me this dictionary which has keys with the prayer names and the values are the timings, okay? And this also should be an empty dictionary and not a text log, okay? So data and then timings, and now we are going to start filling up our prayer timings. But before that, I should check that my prayers dictionary is not empty, just to be on the safe side. So from control, get the if then block, and from logic, get the equal to block, make it not equal to, and from dictionaries, get the size of dictionary block, and my dictionary is my prayer dictionary, okay? And I'm going to check that it is not equal to 0. So my dictionary is not empty. Now I'm going to reset my prayer timings because I have to make the list ready for receiving new prayer timings. And now I'm going to add from lists and add items to list log. And here my list is my prayer timings list, which I need to fill up with the prayer timings. And my item is actually a join of 3 things. So click on the cogwheel and add that. And this thing, I can right click and duplicate because I have to get the value for key prayer name, and then in which dictionary? The prayers dictionary, the prayer dictionary. Okay, from the prayers dictionary, here I am going to go and actually use the spellings from here so that I do not make an unintentional spelling mistake, because these spellings are important. Otherwise, if I provide the wrong spelling here, I will not be able to get the data out of this prayer dictionary. And this is actually a join of the prayer name. So I can use the prayer name again here. And then an empty text block here, which is space, colon, space. Okay. Now the difficult part is over. I just need to right click, duplicate, and go here and just update the prayer name. Okay. So this is not actually a prayer, but knowing the sunrise is also important. And then Zohar. So just keep on doing that. Asr, right click, duplicate, and then paste Asr, Asr, duplicate, sunset, Maghrib, and then this is the Isha. To avoid spelling mistakes, I've actually used the prayer names from the API. So Fajr, Sunrise, Zohar, Asr, Sunset, Maghrib, Isha. Okay. So after this, I just need to provide this global prayer timings list. So I can duplicate it to my list views elements. And one more thing that we need to do is that when the user picks a new school, so school picker dot after selecting event, when that happens, we have to call our procedure prayer timings again so that we can get the new prayer timings for a different school. Okay, so this is done. This simple but elegant prayer timings app is done. I hope you enjoy making this app and customizing it with labels, etc., as I know I've kept the screen design quite simple. Do like the video and share it with friends and family, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, kindly do so that you don't miss the great projects that I've planned for you. Thank you for watching. Ramadan Mubarak. Have a good day and goodbye.